Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Oh no. I forgot. Well, I forgot about some hardware that I found, which is the hard stuff, which is what I want. Totally forgot about it. I left it in the parts washer for like 4 or 5 days. Let's see what happens to that stuff. The RTV that was on here is coming off easily, but it didn't fall off on its own. So far, not so bad. I think we're all right. I'm happy. Cool. All right. Well, it looks like I got to do a little more cleaning on this stuff. Everything did not come off of it, but this was really bad for... Looked like that, but a lot more grease in it too. So I'll clean these up, and I think I'm going to use these because I don't like the silver stuff. I don't think I'd like to know what the tensile strength difference is, but I'm sure these black ones are probably better. If I'm wrong, comment and let me know, but I like these. I don't know if that was like that, but if you can see, that looks a little pitted. And that side's nice and smooth, so guess which side's going toward the engine. Probably not going to use those. Tell you what, one thing I learned about this thing a long time ago is when you're doing this, you always keep your head off to the side and kind of tilt your head like a confused dog. Because if that goes bing, flies, and you get hit in the sock with it, you're gonna be hating life, and I will laugh. Sorry, but it's funny. I've done it. I laugh at myself. All right. I am calling it quits. Being bent over slightly like that is starting to take an effect on my back. Now that I have made a mess of this area and took off 14 layers of my epidermis on my digits, I'm gonna wrap this up. Every video I watch, if there's a guy working on Volkswagen, they always say, whatever you do, try and stick with the old OG original stuff because it's just better quality. So here's the stuff that I cleaned that I may or may not use again. Still in good shape. Still in decent shape. Here's the stuff I'm not using. Crusty. There's a couple wavy washers in here, and then there's a bunch of flat ones, and then there's super skinny aluminum ones that look like they've been overflexed. Yeah. Here's a wavy washer that's flat. I don't know if you can see that, but that thing's toast. It's like, has no strength left to it. I'm going to do the best I can to use all hardened stuff. This stuff is beat up, scarred. It's just, it doesn't look good. Not doing it. Don't like it. I'm just going to do it right the first time. Moving on. Okay, because I am impatient, what I am going to attempt to do here, and I hope I don't ruin them, is I'm going to sand these down. These are 60s, 060s. They have a couple nicks in them here and there. That one seems to be okay, but there's a nice little nick right there. There's a couple gouges right there. There's still a little bit of sealant on here, and I'm going to try and get that off too. So here's how I'm going to try to do it. A little bit of liquid wrench, a little bit of sandpaper. I have a bunch of 400 here, and I'm just going to see if I can take these down a little bit and get the compression ratio I want. Because I think the closer to 5.5 that these are, the better off I'm going to be. Also, before I even put this down, this piece of metal here, I sanded it with 80 and 150, then 600, and smoothed it out to look for any high or low spots. And this area right here with the blue pen, I don't know if you can see all of it, but I have it squared off. So basically where I am from here to here is where I can sand. I can't go outside. This is all nice and flat. So you get the picture. Look, it's already starting to work. It's taking the high spots out of it. Taking the RTV off. And hopefully it takes some of that gouges like that out of there. So we'll modify these so they're custom. Take some measurements. And we'll see how I do. I don't know if this is recommended or not, but I'm sitting here waiting for parts and they're telling me they're not going to be here for a week. I ordered a bunch of shims. I got one package of shims today. I ordered a couple packs from the same place, but I got one package today. And they're saying I'm not going to get the other package till next week. So I'm too impatient for that. I want to see if I can get this compression ratio right and start mocking this thing up to the point where I'm ready to take it apart, clean it one more time, put it all back together for a final time. So anyway, you get the picture. I'm starting to knock this down a little bit. I'll hit it with the calipers, you know, like after every minute or so, and see where I'm at. And then I'll let you know where we are. I'm back. So I sanded this down. I sanded my fingertips off too. So I gotta say that it definitely took the nicks down. It's definitely smoother and more true. There was some high spots and some low spots on this, just like a paint job. I mean, you can see right here, that's not perfect, but now it mics out right all the way across. So if anything, yeah, see, there's still a little bit of sealant on here too. So I think more than anything, I fixed these. And hopefully now that I sanded them down, cleaned them up, we'll go through the work and see if this does the deal. Just a little bit higher compression ratio. That's all we want. We don't want 8. We want 8.25 or something. 8.3, that would be perfect. I'm hoping for anyway. We'll see. Or I can just wait for my new shims to show up and do it that way. I'd rather do it this way and not have to stack a bunch of shims. That'd be cool. Put in an hour or two of work, sand those down, and then I don't have to wait. I can keep moving. This weekend I can keep doing stuff instead of just being bummed out watching a ton of football and sleeping on the couch. Which wouldn't be a bad thing, and I probably could use a break, but that's just not me. Also, I switched to 250 paper. The 500 was taking forever. Starting slow, figuring out where I'm at, changing it up as I go. But hopefully, this will do the deal. I'm getting tired, and I'm probably going to make mistakes, so I'm going to play it safe. Somewhat safe, anyway. Because I know how I get when I'm tired. I get the dropsies. Huh? 0.545. So after lots of sanding, I changed up my process here and I started using 80 and using the block. I sanded about 6 times and finally I got it to 0.050. So I'm happy. Now I get to do it 3 more times. So altogether, probably 35 minutes. So times 4, you do the math, about 2.5 hours or so, I'll be done. Yeah, I'm in it now. What am I doing? Impatience. Glue stuck to it. I'd rather clean the glue off than sand it with this block because that took forever. That literally took me like 45 minutes to do each one of these to get them down to, I think it's 545. This stupid trick seems to be working the best. Can't believe it. I tried doing it by hand. That took forever, and I quickly realized that I had to go down on the number of my sandpaper big time, so I went from 500 to 220 to 150 to 100 to 60, and now I'm down to 50 emery paper. It seems to be working well. So that should cut my time at least in half, and then I can polish it up with a little 80, 120, whatever, just to make it so it's not so, I mean, it's super smooth, but process of elimination, I guess. Using up some old sandpaper. Five, 7. So obviously I need to keep going. You know what comes next. Super speed. All right. 3 down, 1 to go. I need to take a break. Dun, 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 dun. After hours of sanding, they are all now custom shims. 0.0545. That was harder than I thought it was going to be. I probably could have done it 5 different ways. I probably could have sanded on these. I didn't want to do that because these are, they were clean. They were all clean and everything was done, and they're painted and they're oiled and they're ready to rock. I don't want to mess with those. So like I said, there's probably 14 different ways I could have did this, but I chose the hard way, and my shoulders are sore. I'm paying for it, but it's done, and now we can move forward. I sanded on those shims for a few hours, and I just got tired and called it. So we're back. It's actually the end of the day today. It's been another long day. I've been out here for about 10 or 11 hours. So I continued on the shims, and again, I stopped and I was like, this is crazy. I'm doing this the wrong way. It's taken way too long. So I called my neighbor eventually after hours of sanding on him and not getting where I wanted to be. I'm looking for a compression ratio in between 8.2 and 8.3, preferably 8.3. And I finally said, okay, there's gotta be a better way. So I called my neighbor, Kurt, across the street, great guy, helps me out all the time. I said, hey, stop on over. I need a second brain because mine is just melting. I don't know how to go along, and I don't know how to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. Help me. He goes, I'll be right over. So he came over, and about a half hour later, this is what we came up with. So I was sanding on here, just taking the shim and doing this, and then I came up with a method where I had it stuck to the tape, and then I had a method where I was back taping this and putting the sticky end of the tape this way and rolling the tape over, making sure it would stick. And then I got to the point where the tape was getting chewed up so much, I was running out of tape, and now, as you can see, that won't fit on there no more. So I used this one and did the same thing. Used the duct tape because it was stickier, and then put it on here, and I was doing that. And of course, my rotator cuff said, all right, enough of that. So I started thinking, what can I do with the grinding stone? Is there a way that I can make that spin or whatever and have it flat on there so that it will sand this down quicker? I was looking underneath in my metal scrap underneath here and looking for something round, and I was like, wait a minute, if this starts spinning, then that's not going to do me any good. So I need to have this stationary to spin on here or spin on here. So I did a lot of brainstorming. I had a head hurricane. So when Kurt came over, I already had kind of an idea of what I wanted to do. All right, so this is what we came up with. We needed to find a way to put this on something flat so that I could put a little bit of pressure on this and spin it and make it do its thing. And I started breaking out metal and thinking, how can I do this? I can cut this and then weld them together. I was like, it's never going to be flat. So I ditched that idea. So what we ended up doing is we took my sanding spot here. So we cut a circle out of this. And I was like, okay, well, that's great. We can put that on there, but how are we going to keep this from spinning? So I came up with the idea of welding some tacks on this piece of round metal that we cut so that this would pop in there. But how would we get it to pop in? And there's so little room there to pop this thing in. How are we going to do it? So here's what I came up with. Ta-da! Patent pending. Believe it or not, this works. We just took a bolt and welded it on the back and ground this down into kind of a triangle to make it stick in the chuck better. And then what we did was we took some of these old washers that I washed up the other day. Actually, there's the ones that I'm not going to use. And the washer was the perfect size for that circumference. I don't know if you can see that or not. We covered it in some cam shields. Kurt held the washer, made sure it didn't move, and then I welded it, and then I got a perfect half circle. You can see that. Got a perfect half circle here so that this thing will pop right in there. I think 3 out of 4, the washer popped right out, but the other one I had to grind the top off because there was a little bit of weld on top of the washer. But it works. The thing pops right in there now. It's like I said, I'm amazed. I can't believe that this worked. And look how tight that fits in there. It pops. It literally pops in. But man, it was in there nice. There we go. All right, now we're in. So basically, this is what we came up with. It's a nice snug fit. It's stable, and so far, it hasn't popped out on me and gone flying. So happy about that. Long story short, this is the quick way. You grind down your spacer, and then once you get it ground down a little bit, you can fine tune it. On the emery paper. And as you can see, it's sanding evenly. Ooh, that's hot, baby. It's hot. It's sanding evenly. It works. I can't believe it. I didn't care if these were destroyed or not because I have other ones on the way. But I wanted to see if I could do it. And in the future, on another build, I can pop some spacers in there and grind them down to what I want. Way faster than it was trying to do it by hand and get the compression ratio that I want out of it, because they only make certain sizes, and you know, I see a lot of guys compromise and say, oh, good enough, you know, I guess I'm going to stick with that compression ratio because they don't make that other shim. So make your own tool. And believe it or not, I'm proud of this stupid thing. Love it when a plan comes together. It works so well that I got this set up and I have the compression ratio that I want. I needed 0.45, I believe. Yeah, so I got a 30 and a 15. So I needed 0.45 to get 8.3. And we're not. And we're there. Nice drag. It's scratching the top of the cylinder a little bit. So super psyched. Like I said, it's been a long day today. So CB Performance, contact me and we can patent this and make it a new tool. That's probably a pipe dream, but I can't believe it worked. Thanks, Kurt, my neighbor across the street. Great friend, great dude. Love that guy. Between the two of us, we can basically get anything done. There was a lot of tools flying around today. You know, it's bad when you gotta break out the welder. That was Harbor Freight purchase, and you know what? I've had that thing for years and has not let me down. I have not used the tag on it yet. The MIG works so good though. It's great. That thing has done a lot. It welded up all the brackets and everything that I fabricated for. Had to grab a light. So that welder came in really handy, and it did a great job when I fabricated those brackets to get around my sway bar. That was a fun day. But that welder, man, you turn that puppy up and it burned that. It was like sizzling butter the whole time. It did a great job. So those brackets, those silver brackets that are kind of arched over that and mounted to the front beam. That was another one of those challenge days where you just have to win. And it worked well. I get to put my front bumper on. Get that out of there, it's probably too bright. I got my front bumper mounted on because I had all this sprayed with rhino liner, and I had to cut a little bit of it off because I found out this problem afterwards after I put the big sway bar on it. But man, this thing hugs turns and the sway bar doesn't hit no more. Thank you, welder. Lots to clean up. There are tools everywhere, so guess what I get to do? Shop cleanup again. And then I can sand down the other two. Actually, I think I have a little bit left to go on this one. But I got the other two spacers to do. And then I can do my final mock-up on this thing. Make sure all the 4 cylinders are the same and both sides are the same. And continue building this engine. We are getting there. It's coming along. With help from other YouTubers and a lot of hard work, this thing is finally starting to look like an engine again. So, with that, it's been a long day. I'm done. Good night. Have a great day, everybody.